especially on this side, especially on this side.
Yes. I did it at home. Yeah, that back is dangerous. Yeah. You could trip. I guess that's what happened to you.
Good morning, everyone. I'd like to welcome you all for coming to this morning's service. What a difference. I woke up in Watsonville, it's raining, misty, drizzling. I come to Salinas, and it's warm and humid. So, no difference in just the day. But again, I want to thank you for coming. Now, I'd like to ask you to please join me in chanting the San Mujo on page 24, followed by Juice Gay on page 93. sai sho bingyu, seifu josho ga, gashi jo butsudo, nyosho choji po, kukyo mi shomon, seifu josho ga, ryoku jin shonen, jo eshu mongyo, shigu mujo do, isho ten ninshi, jinriki endai ko, fusho musai do, shoujo sanku myo, kosai shu yakunan, kai chi en yen, meshi komohan, hei soku sho akudo, sudatsu zen sumon, koso jo manzo, Iyo jipo, Nichigatsu shujuki, Tenko opugen, Ishu kai hozo, Kose kudoku ho, Jo dai shuchu, Seppo shishiku, Kuyo isai bus, Usoku shutoku hon, Nani shitsu joman, Toku isangai o, Yo butsu mugechi, Sudatsu ni fusho, Nangai kuen ri, Toshi sai sho son, Shigan nako ka, Kaisen no gando, Koku sho tenin, Tojin myo ke. you please rise and now join me in singing the Gatha Nam Mwami Dapsu on page 174, followed by the Threefold Refuge. We'll have music in just a second.
Just a second. Will you now please join me in reading of the Threefold Refuge on page 10 of the Big Purple Book. Difficult is to receive a human form, now we're living it. Difficult it is to hear the Dharma of the Buddha, now we hear it. If we do not cross over to the truth in the present life, in what life shall we cross over? Let us with sincerity and true reverence take refuge in the three treasures of the truth. I take refuge in the Buddha. May we, together with all sentient beings, awaken to the great way of enlightenment and to the unsurpassed intent of the Buddha. I take refuge in the Dharma. May we, together with all sentient beings, enter the storehouse of the Dharma, becoming like the wisdom ocean. I take refuge in the Sangha. May we, together with all sentient beings, become units in true accord and harmony with all things. The peerless, profound, and wondrous Dharma is rare to encounter. Even in many hundreds and thousands of kalpas, we are now privileged to hear and receive it. Let us thoroughly understand the true meaning of the Tathagata's teachings. Nam Mô Amida Butsu. Nam Mô Amida Butsu. Nam Mô Amida Butsu. You may be seated. All right, now I'm going to have my Dharma talk, but I have to get my demonstration going first. It's pretty simple. Please join me in opening reading. When you find no solution to a problem, it's probably not a problem to be solved, but rather a truth to be accepted. Nam Mô Amida Butsu. Nam Mô Amida Butsu.
Good morning, everyone, again, and thank you for coming. I suppose you're wondering what the incense is all about this morning, and the main reason I lit this incense is because it's smoky. Now, I didn't light it to talk about how good it smells, but I lit it for you to watch the smoke. In my younger years, and I still find myself, I'm sitting out in my workshop, if I light incenses, I'll sit there and watch it. And what I really want you to do is watch it as it rises, as it comes off the end of the incense. Now we're going to pretend that you could watch one molecule of the smoke going up in the air, and watching what it does, and watch how far it goes to the point it disappears on you. Okay? I'm not saying you can do that, just watch the smoke and watch it go up in the air and how it disappears on you. This thing actually illustrates a couple of possibilities here. The first thing I'd like to discuss about is the fragile and transitory nature of smoke. And when you watch the smoke and it travels, if your room that has no air, I mean not air, but no breezes, or nobody's moving, or nobody's breathing, the smoke, as you can see when it first comes out of the incense, is really straight. It doesn't move anything. But the smoke is influenced by the smallest thing. If I talk this way long enough, the breeze that I'm putting out this way, the smoke will move. If the door opens, or it hits a temperature variant, and then you get like what inversion, it just stops it. So it really doesn't have much influence on its life. But what I want to talk about is this smoke is like my life. I don't have a lot of control. You're going to think you have a lot of control over your life, but you really don't. And the modern world has made it even harder for this to happen. And the modern world has shown us how much more interdependent we are on people. And, as I gotten older, I've hopefully gotten a little wiser. My wife would probably debate that, but we'll see. I liken the smoke to the bottom of it is like when you're a child, okay? You have not a lot of influence on your life. You're just raised, you're walking the path, you're in the middle, it's not going over. As the smoke gets up, you can see it start to curl and twist and stuff. So I've often thought about that. Maybe when it first starts curling, that's when I got married, because things got a little bit more difficult. And then as the smoke gets a little bit more crazy, that's when I had kids, all right? So then, as it goes up, now the smoke is starting to dissipate on me. And in a way, I'm dissipated. I'm getting older, I can't do the things I could do before, but I'm still there, all right? So, when we talk about, the path, the middle path, walking the middle path, and it sounds easy, but it's not. There's many things that affects us on that path. I don't know if everybody's heard, but there's a parable. It's called the white path, the path, river fire and raging waters of the path. And I'm going to tell you the story basically so we can continue on here. The story was the man found himself in the wilderness a long time ago. And he looks up on this hill and he sees bandits riding down the hill, coming down for him. He looks over this way, he sees beasts, lions and tigers. They're going to kill him. So the man runs and he comes to a river. And in this river, on one side is raging fire. I mean, it's just an inferno running this. And on the other side of the river it's just rapids and waves and just, he knows if he goes either way, he's going to die. But in the middle, there's a path, a 6-inch white path. And he's standing there, he's looking, he's going, oh, here comes the beast, here comes the bandit, I'm going to die. But if I go across the water, I'm going to die. So the guy's going like, what do I do? Well, on the other side of the water was standing Amida and Shakyamuni Buddha. And he was telling him, just come as you are. Not as an invitation to come die, but come as you are. If you walk the path and believe in what we're teaching you, you'll make it to the other side. So,
In Buddhism, we talk about walking the path, travelers on the same path, path to enlightenment. We talk a lot of paths here. And if you think about it, the Shakyamuni Buddha said there's like 87 gates, or 84,000 gates or paths to enlightenment. Can we equate path to practice? Or practice path? Or are we practicing while we're walking the path? And that's what I would like to think that we're doing. Is that we're walking the path together, we're practicing, and what I mean by the only practice we really have in Jodo Shinshu is Nam-myoho-myo-dabusa. That's our practice. So Shinran realized during the age of Mapo, which we're in right now, the age of Decade Dharma, that we had no way of obtaining enlightenment. He tried for over 20 years on Mount Hiei, and he finally just gave up. He got there at 9, left at 29, and he realized that he would not ever reach enlightenment. I got out of there. So if we go back to, if we go back to the smoke again, and we talk about, the smoke leaves there, goes up. What do you think has a lifetime? A minute? Maybe minute and a half, can you follow it that far? If you look at perspective, Dharmakara, who was Amida Buddha, spent roughly, they figured, 5 kalpas, or 5 billion years, practicing and performing his vows until he attained enlightenment. The universe, or our Earth, is about 4 billion years old. Humankind, modern mankind, has probably been here 150,000 years. So if you think of time, if we can even live to 100 years, which is getting to be more common nowadays, but it's harder, is that we're just like a blip in time. We're like if you went to the beach and picked up 1 grain of sand, probably would not represent the whole time that mankind has been here, let alone how long we've been here. So it's really, our lives are really transitory. It's like the smoke. We don't last very long while we're here. And what do we have to do that? The other day, I was reading stuff, and I was reading, and I came across a term. It's called Carpe Diem. Does anybody have a remote idea what that means? It basically is Latin for seize the day. And I like Latin because Latin kind of makes you smarter, which makes you look smarter. I know Latin, but I really don't, just that one term. And what I mean by seize the day is today. We have to live today to our fullest. We have to do everything we can today because there's very good possibility there may be no tomorrow. So, think about it when you go home, and you think about what you're doing, what you've done, what you're going to do. Think about other things like how grateful I am to my spouse, to my friends, to my Sangha members, my Sangha family, and think kindly on us trying to give you Dharma talks. So what I'm trying to tell you today is, I'm just going to sum this up because I've kind of got my 15 minutes in here, is that life is very transitory. We don't live very long. We have to live to our fullest extent every day. And one of the main things, and I've tried this more now, and you'd be surprised how happy it will make people, is gratitude is something we need to practice every day. Not just, gratitude. We have gratitude Amida. I'm very grateful that somebody showed up this morning. I don't think Tom and Mariko just really wanted to listen to me by myself. But when somebody does something for you, don't take it for granted. Like this morning, I stopped to get coffee on the way in, and the lady gives me a coffee, and I said, she answered me, I said, thank you. And she looked at me and smiled like nobody ever says thank you anymore. Think about it. When you're in line and you see a fast food server hand you something, or somebody gives you something, nobody says thank you anymore. And I would like to have you try to practice that, when your wife or your spouse, your friend, or significant other, or whatever you deal with every day, when they do something, say thank you. Because, You've got to be grateful. You gotta be grateful that my wife has stuck with me for 48 years, which I think probably to her seems like 48,000 years, but for me it's like 48 minutes. Or maybe it's vice versa, I don't know. But I say thank you all the time to her now. I practice gratitude. So that concludes my Dharma talk, and I really hope that I had a decent message here for you. But will you please join me in the closing reading? Life is like a book. Some chapters sad, some happy, some exciting, but if you never turn the page, you'll never know what the chapter holds. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Now, will you please, let me check my thing, I'm pretty sure. Will you please stand, and we're going to sing Song 2 on page 220 of the Big Book. Please stand. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Tommy, do we have any closing announcements you'd like to make?
Yeah. So for everybody out there, next week the service is going to be online only. Shinseku Sensei is going to televise from Monterey, and you can watch the service live from the Center Coast YouTube site. We'll repost it again later in the Salinas site, but live you can only see it on the Center Coast. And following that service will be the Lady Kujo service, which will be combined June and July Shotsuki, and the Lady Kujo, which will be supposed to be hosted by the BWA. So, and I think that's it for the month of June. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Tommy. I would again like to thank you all for coming. Coming on the Sunday morning, your busy mornings. I hope that everyone is going to continue to be safe. We do have a rise in COVID. I know they're talking in Monterey County about masking up again, so please take precautions and follow all the guidelines. Will you please join me for a closing reading, and we'll close the service. This reading is not a Buddhist reading. This is something that I found that I thought is profound, but it's 7 rules of life. Rule number 1, smile. It always works out in the end. Number 2, be kind. You have the power to make people feel good. Number 3, don't give up. If it doesn't work the first time, find another way. 4, don't compare. Everyone's on a different journey. 5, avoid negativity, avoid negative thoughts, situations, and people. 6, make peace with your past. Focus on being present and creating a better future. Number 7, take care of your body and mind. One struggles to survive without the other. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. This concludes our service. I'll set up here, and please come forward and show it. I'm just going to put this in the essence.
east again?
It
Yeah.
doesn't,
East, Florida, South, New Orleans.
just the two of you, but it was homeless.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, here.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tom, thanks, Michael.
Yeah, it just reconnected right now. See, it's back. I thought that might be it, but I was holding it for quite a while, without it recovering. Our speed is